Good morning. Welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. It's a joy once again to be here and speak to each of you around the world through the gift of Humanity Healing Facebook, who I openly accept and wish nothing but the highest good for all of the teachings that they have brought forth to us for so many years. They've been just an amazing continuum of desire for the healing of humanity on so many levels. So, looks like I have somebody arriving. There seems to be 9 little peeps up here and some over here. I love you all. You are my peeps. Today's talk is really, and most of my talks are things that I go through during the week, come up for me, and I know that I'm not alone when these things happen. They're happening to all of us. Some of us may not tap into them at a deeper level, and it's part of my responsibility to bring that forward so that people get to look at not being alone, not having these thoughts that may be somewhat uncomfortable and not know what to do with them. And then others just to confirm that, yes, you too are going through all of these energetic shifts, this evolution process, this ascension, whatever labels you want to put to it. And to say that, when I first came back from my death experience, that was what my guides had told me, is to pull the labels off of everything and look at it again. And that message seems to be coming up more and more frequently, and I'm speaking it to people more and more frequently. So I think that we're all moving through some energies that are releasing some deep inner emotions, stuff that we've held back for years, and we've fought intensely not to reveal it to our conscious mind and therefore let it go and dissipate. This is the process we're going through. So good morning, Nolene. Good vibes. Thank you. Good vibes from you. Thank you back. Okay. Good morning from Florida. So as I wrote these notes last night, it started last night, and it was amazing how it just comes together. And so the feeling that I have had in the past couple of days is resistance. There have been many things which have presented themselves to me during the week, and I thought I was being in the flow. And yet when I would go to sleep at night, I would be reminded and woken in the middle of the night with this intense feeling of resistance. And as with all of us, our guides speak to us 24/7. This is not a form of insanity. This is a natural communication with our higher self and all of those beings that are equally in communication with us at that level. So this is what we are now stepping into, and it creates a bit of fear. And when we feel fear, we start to want to resist and say, oh, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to do that. So the message came that there is always a point where we experience resistance. However, it is only then that the question arises. And the question, therefore, is a response to an intention. And we have these intentions, and they bring up a lot of issues, things that we may have tried before or tried to break free of before and failed. brings up a lot of baggage. That's the resistance. And I'm going to bounce around a little here. I have my notes in front of me that are written in a logical manner, but why be logical? Do not resist. So I'll start with From the Silence of the Mind, a book by a mystic, Eastern European mystic, that his words were translated. And his words were, do not resist anything you encounter. Thoughts, desires, emotions, just listen and watch. They appear automatically from the baggage of your mind, old and countless residues, deceitful and stupid. That was just one paragraph of a 2-page writing. And it hit home as I just randomly picked up a book to say, speak to me. Speak to me about this resistance that I'm feeling. It brought me to the next point, which we're all at, is at many levels, where when we experience resistance to something, we come up with this question. Should I resist or not resist? We may not speak it or say it or in that form, but there's that moment of energy in our body where we start to question and pull back and start to hesitate and go into this frequency of, I'm looking at it now as a dance of energy. Should I not? What if? All of these questions start to come up. And many times what happens is we become drained, and so it's easier to resist. And we just say, forget it, I'm not even going to go there. When we do that, we are actually stopping the flow of many things. Granted, if we know that the choice of resisting something, if we know full well it's harmful to us, then by all means, end it there. However, it's being presented to us for a purpose. It's being presented to us to look at within our lives and see how many things in our lives resonate with that we're not resisting. Everything repeats in different forms. So if we're doing something harmful to our evolution, it will come up over and over again in many, many different forms. This is where we need to start learning to not resist. Resistance, basically, is a response. It's a response to an occurrence, not really an intention of creation. We may think we're creating this thought, but it really is just a response. Most of the time, we respond with what we think is going to be most comfortable to our mind and to our physical body. This is helpful at times, but what I want to introduce to people is right now we have to step into those uncomfortable zones and really start to pull off all the labels and look again. And then make the decision. Should I resist this or not resist this? Because sometimes in and through what we have been taught is uncomfortableness. There's a great opportunity for revelation, an inner revelation to ourselves as to who we truly are, and to our capacity to overcome something that we always thought we couldn't. In electronics, resistors, there's a term resistors for those of you who know electronics, and they are, quote Wikipedia here, they are used to reduce current flow, adjust signal levels, to divide voltages, bias active elements, and terminate transmission lines. Do you get it? Resistance diminishes us in some way, shape, form, or manner. We have been doing this our whole lifetime, diminishing ourselves through resistance. Resistance just didn't come in and say, oh, I'm going to take over your life. And we chose to do that because it made us feel more comfortable. It helped us to forget pain and suffering. So it's an autonomic process on some level of our own emotional protection. And it's time now to stand in the truth of who we are in our hearts. So for me personally, my resistance is usually coming from a place of fear. Not usually one that I understand, but I go into fear. The other night, I was awakened at 2:22 in the morning, and immediately went into fear. And I don't go there very often anymore, but it was just profound how instantly there was this energy of fear. And immediately I went into a form of resistance. Now, 222 is a divine number for me. And I know that when I'm awakened in the middle of the night, I'm awakened usually by my guides and teachers. And the way I was awakened meant that they had a very powerful message for me. But I, as the human being, no, I don't want this. However, as I calmed down and recognized that I was safe, that these were my higher family communicating with me, I may not like their message. I may not like what they have to say, but they're saying it because they love me. And they want me to be the highest in integrity that I can be. And what ended up resulting was I was told that work that I have done my whole life, some things I've done my whole life, were now to end. And it was brought up because what I was about to do, what I had said I would do for someone, something I had done for years and years, without even thinking of it, was going to jeopardize my inner integrity. Nobody else would have known what took place. It was very innocent in effect. But I was guided, just like you are, to sharpen my pencil, to really find those things in ourselves that we say, oh, well, that's not a big deal. I can do that. That's just a little bit off color, or that's just a little bit unfaithful, or that's just a little bit not nice. I'm here to tell you all of that has to be looked at, dealt with, and released. And the more we resist that, the longer we're going to stay in the middle of that fear and intimidation. So technically, if somebody's talking about bringing inner peace is really about agreement. It's an agreement with your higher self and your guides, those who love you, those who trust you, those who see you for who you really are. It's an agreement to say, I will uphold this energy. We all talk about holding energy. I'm saying uphold energy. Uphold it so everybody may have an opportunity to see it, feel it, smell it, taste it, touch it, and share it. This is what we're doing. Yesterday, the other day, I don't know, I write so much and posted stuff, I don't know where it goes or where it comes from half the time. But I wrote, every one of us who are now living from our heart are questioning everything that was told and sold to us. Of course, I have to limit it to so many words for Facebook's little memes. But the messages of that is we are here now to question everything. Everything we do, not obsessively, but in the moment. We don't have to go looking for things. They will appear in our daily intercommunication with life. 444, bless you, dear. You're beautiful. The numbers are coming to all of us, and each one of them are messages from your guide. So tune into numerology, tune into some of the people who are explaining these as angel messages or messages from others, because really there is a synchronicity in all of this to remind us that we're not here doing this alone. And so that 222 number and 22 AM was really about how, if I continued in the thought form that I was planning to do, it would be a violation of my integrity. And I questioned, I said, but that's crazy. It's just this little thing. And the message was, no, Charlie, the time now, even for the little things, have to be addressed. No resistance, Charlie. Stop resisting us. Stop resisting what's coming to you. Stop resisting moving forward. Stop the resistance. And in that, it's a game changer. Are you willing to step into the higher self that you really are? Are you willing to not only talk about it or think it, but live it, act it, walk it, share it with others? These are the crossroads that many of us are at, all at different levels, all in different circumstances. But it really is about respecting and honoring your strength, your self-respect, your integrity. This is where we all are right now. This is what we are all going through right now in some shape, manner, and form. Many of you are suffering losses of loved ones. You're suffering physical pain and illness. We are in a state of suffering. And it's not to be dismissed or wished away. It's to be looked at and saying, what does this have for a message for me? And how can I still, in the midst of all of this suffering, honor who I truly am in the midst of this? You know, in group councils, we used to talk about pain. And we'd have people express pain. What is your pain? And what is your pain? And it would always be interesting if you get 6 or 8 people or more in a group, and they start to honestly open and express what their pain is, you realize that each person's pain on the surface is uniquely different. But their experience of it is very closely the same. And when they can look and start to take an action to say, I'm not the victim of this, everything in their lives starts to change. And so, like being awakened in the middle of the night and having this intense fear and this message, yeah, I was suffered last night. Oh, this was horrible. This was a bad dream. No, it was a message from me at a higher level of myself with love. How we experience things has been distorted. And it's been distorted intentionally so that we follow somebody else's teachings, we follow somebody else's laws, we become enslaved to somebody else's thought forms, which are basically what we call society. 2 minutes left. I want to touch on this. So for thousands of years, all of this conflict in what we call society has been brought up, and we're still going through it. If you look out at any public display of humanity, it's suffering. Society is suffering. A society is really just a state of being. It's not a construct. It was an agreement of people living together in community. And there's been resistance throughout all of it. And if you look at society and we gave up the resistance of us living in community with each other, this is the ideal, yet we fight it. But living in community with open hearts, with open minds, what would that be like? What would that be like if we didn't show up with resistance? And so it's our resistance that becomes the destructive force in everything we do. And we now have to take full responsibility for that. We can't keep pointing, oh, he did this, they did that. What did I do? What little part did I play? Well, I agreed with that, or I blah, blah, blah. We need to challenge ourselves. Our old teachings say that once we can manage our fears, we can see that progress is impossible without resistance. Resistance is the challenge we need to overcome in order to progress. But what if that was not the truth, but a construct created to limit us so that a few would prosper and grow while most would fail due to a lack of trust in themselves? I'm going to give you a perfect example. It's on the news, and I don't watch the news, but it's being pounded into my ears about how wealthy beings are paying the way for their children to get into colleges that normally they wouldn't get in. Where is the integrity in that? Where is the society in that? Where is the love in that? You tell me, because I can't find it. And yet, when we question all that we have ever encountered and failed at, we firstly feel it in ourselves as a lack of trust. We're not trusting ourselves. We're not trusting our faith. We're not trusting our spirit guides. We're not trusting. And our trust is really a connector. It's a connector to receive more. So as we go through this process of diminishing our resistance and moving into the flow of the natural order of life and the natural order of what a society should be like, we have to begin to trust ourselves enough to say, I don't need to resist this. Our trust is a connector in order to receive more of what we are focusing on. So here again, be careful what you focus on. If you focus on deceitfulness, you will get more. If you focus on light, you also will get more. You'll hear me say 1,000 times, each one of you are sovereign beings. And it's you trusting you to bring through who you really are and be brave enough to live it in a world that looks like it's totally falling apart. This is our time right now. This is why many of us are here. Some of us have come back from death to be here. Some of us have recovered from injuries and pain and suffering to be here. And we're now at this gateway that says, what do I do next? Where do I go? I don't know how to. Everything I thought what I was supposed to do is like changing. It's disappearing. It's like, no, you can't do this. No, it's not that. And we're left with this vulnerability. We trust our hearts. We trust anything that comes up to show us an opposing view of something so that we can experience it and make another decision, one that aligns with who we truly are. Because when our trust fails, we are hurt. We are hurt, and this word came through, energy emotionally. Yeah, I'm going to put that down because it makes me laugh. Energy emotionally. Let's see if I can get that there. Paste and hit enter. Okay. Energy emotionally. We're hurt in our energy system. We're taking a hit to the energy field. Never mind what the brain does, what you thought, energetically. And when that happens, immediately we start to pull back energies from whatever we're doing. It's an automatic response. It's perfect. It's designed for our own protection. We've got our energy out there in the field, and then all of a sudden, you don't trust something. What do? You pull back your energy. The problem is that most of the time, it becomes too late and too long to put it back out there. So now we're all stuck in these bodies with energy all over the place. And in that moment, we resist or not resist something. So I hope I'm making some sense this morning. Let's look at the fact that we're traveling down this long road together. What we see along the sidelines are uniquely different to each other. Some of us will see darkness and pain. Some of us will see joy and happiness. But the key is to stay on the road, to keep going, and knowing that you're coming home into your heart, and showing up more and more as this beautiful, energetic being who is a creator. It was created in the image of the Creator. And it's time now for us to live it by not resisting. So I know there's a whole school of thoughts out there about resistance, and that resistance is needed and part of the whole, and it is, but we're moving through it, not clinging on to it. And perhaps we can begin to see or become a blur of light as we pick up speed and honor it without fear. Fully knowing in our hearts that integrity and honesty within ourselves is the only energetic fuel that can create our release from fear and resistance. And those are the ends, that's the end of my show notes that I wanted to express to each and every one of you today. I love you, I thank you, and I respect you. And just before I got on, I picked up Greg Braden's book, Spontaneous Healing of Belief, and opened it randomly to belief code number 18, which reads, "In our greatest challenges of life, we often find that our deeply hidden beliefs are exposed and available for healing." So my blessing for all of you is that you find those places that need healing and not resist them, not deal with them in an irrational manner, but know that you have the love and support of your angels, your guides, your divine creator, and thousands of others of forms of energy who want to see you in your truth. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. And we are unity. May each of you have a beautiful week and enjoy whatever comes up for you, even if at first it's a little, I don't like it. Know that within you, you have the power to shift that. Just by staying in your heart, and it's what you honor as its integrity. It will guide you, I promise you. I'm complete. The replay will be on Humanity Healing, and I will post it elsewhere. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you for being here. It's a really great time to be alive. I just turned 70 last week, and so that's a road. Never thought that would happen. Never thought much about it, but it's amazing how even our age number changes our thought pattern. So looking forward to another, at least another 24 years. Whether I'll be here on Facebook for 24 years, who knows? Facebook may not even exist in 2 years. I love you, bless you, thank you, be at peace, and may your day be filled with light. Bye-bye.